Well, hello. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. Are we live? Hopefully, we're live. YouTube says we're live. Eustace Pharmer, he must be hearing me. He's saying he is a child of old age. Well, I just don't, I don't buy that. I don't buy that one bit. And Doug Zorley's in the house. What the hell is EP doing here? He never goes to live streams. Well, Doug Zorley, I wrote Eustace Farmer a big fat check, and he uh, he agreed to show up. So that's I guess that's why. Will MacG, he is here live 1830 hours. 1830 hours. Well, it's actually 1930 hours. Nah, Zorley's not supposed to be in bed. He should be up working. All right, let's get things underway here. Thanks for everyone for showing up. I'm sure more will join if that fits their schedule. As soon as I figure out which buttons I'm supposed to press here. So again, thanks everyone for coming out, and I'm sure that Doug Zorley and Eustace Pharmer are going to continue their little their discussions. We'll just call it that. In the chat, and that's okay. That's for your entertainment as well as maybe for mine if I can keep my eye on the chat and eye on the road and everything. So we're going to kind of resume where we left off, and I want to apologize because I know that the last few, well, the live stream on Friday evening basically was a fun live stream. I had a lot of fun. And we had about 10 to 12 folks in the chat. Had a lot of folks to talk back and forth, and we had some discussions about Farm Sim 19 and things like that. And I went to go and look for the archive video just to do a couple of tweaks to it and make sure that it was live for everybody to see that wanted to come out and watch it after the fact. And geez, I can't drive tonight. And so it wasn't there. It wasn't there. And so the really weird thing was I couldn't find it for like until actually it was yesterday, or maybe it was Tuesday. No, today is Tuesday, so it was yesterday, Monday. I finally went into the beta section, which is something I guess new that YouTube has for us content creators. And lo and behold, there it was. It was listed in the beta section, but it was not listed with the regular, what they're calling as classic section. So I don't know why that is. And we'll find out if basically it does the same thing with the episode tonight. But at least at this particular point in time, I do know that that the live stream information or the live stream archive is going to be there, so that's going to be good. But of course, when I thought that it didn't capture the archive or the live stream, I then recorded the episode on Saturday morning, which is labeled as episode number 2, and basically said, well, I'm going to just do it the old-fashioned way because I want to make sure that anybody and everybody that wants to watch my videos has the ability to do that. And of course, yesterday I found where the live stream archive was, and so here we are. So we're gonna go back to the original plan, which is to do the live streams for this particular series. This is, of course, South Mountain Creamery, and this is an edit that was performed by Eustace Pharmer, and I made a couple of tweaks to it as well. Unfortunately, the edit is private, the map is private, but if you want to go out and get a copy of it for yourself and make your own changes and everything to it, you're certainly free to do that. and that map, you can find it on the Giants Mod Hub. So we sort of talked about on, and let's see who's in the house. DC is in the house. Welcome, DC. Hopefully my response to your Discord question, you got what I was trying to say there. Basically, long story short for you, DC, in our hallway, in our entrance hallway, that subboard runs the entire length of the entranceway, and a portion of that entranceway is hardwood floor, and a portion of it was tile. And so what I wanted to do, well, what the wife wanted to do was she wanted to change the tile out, but leave the hardwood floor intact. So if I would have put backer board down on top of the subfloor, that would have lifted the height of the tile up to where we would catch a toe or something on it, or I would have had to have taken that subfloor out. I would have had to have cut it, and that would have made a heck of a lot more work that I didn't really want to do. So DC says, poor Grizz has two hooligans tormenting his stream. Yeah, but they'll kind of police each other, and I figure at the end of the stream they're going to be so tired that they'll probably just sleep it all off. Okay, so Mickey, which I think Doug Zorley, is that the character name that you've got? And I'm sorry, I did not mean to steal it from you at all. I did not hear that. So Mickey is our wood guy here. He is building beehives, and part of the process is that we have to cut trees down. We need to mill them over here at Marhu's milling apparatus over here. And then, of course, we're going to then take the boards from there over to also to the sugar factory, or the honey milk factory. We're going to do that, and let's see, did I mess up and forget to bring the truck up here? No, Matilda, you took my Tilly. Okay. Well, let me tell you, as we're going to jump here because I forgot to bring this truck up. So we need to bring this truck up here so we can connect to our trailer. Tilly was the name of my grandmother. So all of my names, all the names that I use for my characters, are all names that are somewhat either related to me or associated to me or whatever. Billy Bob was a childhood friend of mine that I used to hang out with and play on the farms, and he died a number of years ago, and so I just sort of call my character Billy Bob sort of in recognition of him. But Matilda, Tilly, that is the name of my grandmother on my dad's side, Tilly Taylor, and so that's why I started using that name. So, all right, yeah, I like this truck as well. So you guys just feel free to talk amongst yourselves and everything. I need to regain my composure here because I brought the wrong truck up here, and all that stuff. So we're gonna do things sort of the easy way with forestry, kind of like we do bale handling and pretty much anything else. Because as I say, I've got two left hands and two right feet, and the thumbs are on the wrong side of the hands and everything. So it makes for a very awkward time. But yeah, I don't do picking up logs and everything with a log apparatus and such as that. Chris Webb is in the house. Welcome, Chris. Did you bring? Let's see. Eustace Pharmer's passing out cookies now. All right. Well, that is good because I'm hungry. Let's see. Eustace Pharmer, ban the duck, then EP won't act up. Well, we're not going to we won't ban anybody. That's no fun. All right, so we're going to open this up. We also do forestry like a boss as well. Might as well use the fun big toys and everything. We're not going to, don't worry, we're not going to do a whole lot of forestry in this series. We're going to basically do just enough to where that we can keep the couple of industries going to make enough beehives and make enough of the other stuff that we need to do. And come on. It's been a little while since I've done forestry. So we're not going to do the entire episode with cutting trees down. We're going to, like I said, we're going to do just enough here to get some wood so we can keep that sawmill running. And let me look and see what my wood length cuts are here. So why? Ask why. Okay, we're going to start cutting. Hope everyone is having a wonderful, wonderful day. Man, I tell you what, it turned cool here in the Rocky Mountain region practically overnight. I saw something on Facebook this afternoon. A week ago, we had, I think, our 6th or 7th day in a row of above 90-degree weather. And I know for some of you folks in other parts of the country, that is a walk in the park. But for us here in September, 90-degree weather is kind of unheard of. But this morning I got up and it was in the 40s. And I think the daytime high today was only about 60 degrees, 62 degrees, something like that. So fall is here, and that's a good thing, because hopefully we'll get a little bit of moisture, and it'll help put some of those forest fires out that we have both here in Colorado as well as in other parts of the country as well. With a John Deere combine wood chipper, yeah, but there's probably only going to be one in the game. How can we manage? How can we absolutely manage with only one John Deere wood chipper combine in the game? That is just crazy. So speaking, hauling the logs out by horse. Yeah, hey, we're going to get horses in Farm Sim 19. Joy. So today, if you go out to grizzlybearsims.com, if you're not familiar with my blog site, I would encourage you to go out there and maybe bookmark it and read some of the stuff. I write articles on flight sim, farm sim, truck sim, kind of from time to time. Well, I wrote an article today about the whole drama that seems to be going around the farm sim community about the fact that there's only going to be one John Deere combine. And I think the subject line of the blog post was, oh my God, only one John Deere combine in FS19. And of course, this is partially kind of a continuation of the rant that Doug Zorley carried on in one of his videos that I watched yesterday. I think it was a live stream that he did over the weekend, perhaps. And yeah, the community is just going crazy over the fact that that for whatever reason, Giants only put one combine, one John Deere combine in Farm Sim 19. And my point in the whole thing is that people just need to relax. There are probably many reasons why that is. And one of the PCSG members actually left a comment, and it actually makes quite a bit of sense. His response to my blog article, and he's like, well, one thing is Giants cannot attempt to show favoritism, which I had actually not really thought about that. But you know, if Giants were to just basically put a whole lot of John Deere stuff into Farm Sim 19 from the get-go, then that might look as if they are showing favoritism for that particular brand, and it might jeopardize the relationship that they have with Case or with New Holland or Massey Ferguson or any of those others. And sometimes these trees just won't cut down. But yeah, so basically my advice, and I know I speak for I'm pretty sure I speak, well, I know I speak for Eustace Pharmer and I speak for Doug Zorley when I say this, is we just need to be patient. And you know, I think that there's a possibility that maybe a strong possibility that that essentially John Deere could be part of a DLC or something that could come out later in the year. That would be very cool. And of course, yeah, Giants is going to want a little bit of money for that DLC, but hey, we need to continue to keep their development program working, because obviously that's how we continue to fund all the goodness that is the farm sim madness that we enjoy. And so yeah, so we just need to be patient and see how things unfold. And you know, as far as us PC folks, while I can't necessarily guarantee what mods are going to come available for the console guys, but for us PC folks, it's probably only a matter of you know, weeks, maybe a month or so before we'll have possibly more mods for Farm Sim 19 than we can possibly shake a stick at. Of course, some of those will be good quality, and some will be, you know, kind of like some of the Farm Sim 17 mods are. They're, you know, a little questionable and such, but if I speak for Eustace Pharmer, I'll have to take over roasting Zorley. Well, I'm not a big fan of duck, actually, crispy or otherwise. I'm more of a chicken kind of guy, and I realize that you know, all these things taste like chicken. I just stick to chicken. I think the only thing that I eat that folks will say tastes like chicken is gator. I do like gator. That's from my time living in South Louisiana for a little while. Gator's pretty good if it's seasoned right, and it really does kind of have the texture of chicken, kind of tastes like chicken, and it's the other white meat. Duck is bitter. Okay, well, I think sometimes Doug Zorley is kind of bitter, Eustace, especially after he and you have been going after it a bit. There we go. Duck is only bitter around you. So we've got 16 people watching the stream. Thanks everyone for hanging out this Tuesday evening. If you are new to the channel, please click the subscribe button and click the like button and all that good stuff. We appreciate that. That does provide some motivation for us to continue to do what we do. And while you're at it, please take a look down below the video, and please visit the YouTube channels of all of my YouTube content creator friends. Both Doug Zorley and Eustace Pharmer are in the house tonight, and both of those guys put out good family friendly content. That's kind of the thing that we all pride ourselves on, is that, you know, we know that we've got people, whether it be children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, or whatever, that enjoy watching Farm Sim content, because let's face it, you know, if I had something like this to watch when I was a young person, that might have kept me out of a little bit of the trouble that I got into from time to time. Of course, we had Schoolhouse Rock and all that good stuff, so that was pretty fun. I learned a lot from watching Saturday morning cartoons, believe it or not. We're going to cut just a couple more trees down and go ahead and take this over to the sawmill again, because I don't want to dominate the live stream with something like logging, because hey, I'm probably going to be writing an article for the blog either tomorrow or Thursday, where I'm going to talk a little bit about some thoughts that I've had recently about Giants and Farm Sim 19, and kind of based on what I've known about it from Farm Sim 17 and 15 and all that good stuff. I don't really know how kids cope today without the good Saturday morning educational cartoons. That must just be that must really just be lacking in for them. And I think I've tried to cut this tree down like 20 times now, and I'm going to just forget about it. Okay, one more tree, and then we'll haul this load over and call this little project good. Logging Simulator 2019, that's right. Yeah, we kind of talked about that on Friday night, about the fact that the new Komatsu, I think that's how you pronounce it, the new Komatsu brand that's going to be in the game, you know, is going to kind of be a duplication of all the Ponzi Scorpion King, the Ponzi Buffalo. I think there's going to be a logging truck that's going to be in Farm Sim 19, but you know, Ponzi stuff is going to be in there as well, and so it's kind of like, okay, well, I certainly get the idea why we have multiple brands of tractors and multiple brands of combines, because you know this is a farming simulator after all. But I really don't think, I could be wrong, but I really don't think that the average fan of this game really needs or wants or even cares about having multiple um, tree harvesters. Doughboy, welcome Doughboy. Thanks for coming back around. We saw you on Friday night, and let's see, left side. We're going to start the auto load because again, that's how we do things. Won't be rolling this one because I don't have very far to go. So Doughboy is talking about, he's sort of making fun of me, I suppose, in a good way. Back, well, many months ago now, I suppose, I was doing an old guy farmer challenge. Let's go ahead and strap these down. We'll take this over there and come back and get these others. I was doing an old guy farmer challenge where we were trying to see who could make the most money playing the same map under the same kind of the structure, the same guidelines, the same rules, everything. And I had snow. I had such a horrible winter. Had such a horrible winter. And I was trying to cut trees down and haul the timber and everything to the sawmill to sell it. And it was just crazy. I would roll the truck and but hey, other people did the same thing. Other people rolled their equipment as well. And I think honestly, I mean, I think for those guys that watched it and watched the other guys that were participating, Rubber Burner was participating, Farmer Klein was participating. I think we all had different weather patterns, and I think for the portion of time that I participated in the challenge, I think I had like the worst weather of the others. Okay, so start auto load B. Where I get the trailer, if you look on my mod spreadsheet, if you go to grizzlybearsims.com and at the top of the page, click on information, it'll take you to my mod spreadsheet, and you'll see tabs down at the bottom, Will, of the simulation-based games that I play. So there's a tab for P3D, Flight Sim, and ATS and ETS2. Well, there's a Farm Sim 17 tab, and if you click on that tab, it'll open up a Google document spreadsheet, and in that Google document spreadsheet, I didn't want to do that. In that spreadsheet, you'll see a link for I think it's under either trailers or maybe it might be under forestry, and you can see that and get the link to it. This might be this might actually be Stevie's one of Stevie's mods, and if so, it might be on PCSG, but it'll say on that mod spreadsheet. All right, we'll leave this guy up here for now, and we're going to see. Let's see what we have going on over here. We don't have a full pallet yet, so that will be forthcoming, but we do have a pallet over there. So I do realize the error of my ways. I forgot to change what the type was. So we're going to do, man, this thing will carry everything. Maybe goods bigger pallets is what I'm looking for. We'll see. We'll take this pallet of lumber down to the honey milk factory. I think that's what it's called. or maybe not. Yeah, I did, DC. Will says he crashed a log truck for real in the snow. Well, I'm sure that wasn't fun. All right, that's okay. We'll call that good. Now, if you guys haven't seen the this operator outfit here, this is pretty cool. This is our hard hand Mickey, and he's basically building the beehives for us. So all you do is you bring in your lumber, it accepts it there, and then it produces beehives. And so he'll produce a beehive momentarily, and then we'll have to come up here later and take it off this concrete pad so he'll continue to work. Kind of looks like my shop, with the exception of he should be wearing safety glasses. He has ear protection on, but he does not have safety glasses. So shame on him. Farmer Men, good evening. So glad to see your videos again. I am so glad to be able to let you see the videos again. Really, really am. All right, we'll haul this down to the honey milk factory. Hey, EP, I got a question for you, buddy. Those, I did find the orchard trees, so found those. And do those kind of harvest and sell themselves, or do I need to take a trailer down like we did back in the FS15 days and unload those fruit and veg out of the trees? Do you happen to know? He's okay. Eustace is going to bed. He's got to get up at 4 a.m. Okay, no problem. Maybe somebody else knows. Yep, they're self-selling. Okay, well, he answered the question. Thank you. Night night. Sweet dreams and all that good stuff. Get your rest. You've got a big weekend coming up. Yeah, water and manure. I've got the water and I've got the manure around them, and so I was kind of thinking they must self-sell, but I wasn't sure. There was some orchard trees back in Farm Sim 15, and you could basically drive a little trailer underneath them, and the fruit would kind of fall into the pallets, into the little crates, and that's how you manage that. 22 folks watching. Thanks everyone for joining the live stream tonight. Um, glad to have you. So I think it takes four of these pallets to basically build this honey milk factory. Let's see, what are we doing? All right. We'll take this bone back to the main farm and start up our next task. My speed got changed there. I guess I must have hit the 7 key by mistake. This will be the last. This will be the last episode, or the last playthrough on this particular game day. When we come back together for the next live stream, and I'm not sure when that's going to be. It most likely will be Thursday evening. We'll see. We'll start mowing on the next grass field. We did basically in the live stream on Friday. We mowed, tethered, raked, and started harvesting the grass off of one of our two grass fields, field number 31. Tomorrow we will do, or the next live stream we will do field number 42. And because basically we've got that sort of weather forecast coming up for starting the second game day of summer. So we need to do our grass work tomorrow. We're going to just basically cut that as grass, and we're going to collect the grass in bulk and start our silage production process with that grass. All right, we'll do a little spraying since we've cut that grass in that first field, field number 31. We now need to go and put some fertilizer on it so that that will grow and we can have a good yield off that the next cut. Hopefully we can get 2 cuts off of that. And if you didn't watch episode 0, which kind of set the stage for all this, and if you missed the live stream archive, and if you missed episode number 2, we do have 200 head of dairy cattle that we're running on this map, and we have no sheep, no pigs. We do have hen-laying chickens, and we need to probably go collect some eggs today. But that's the only animals that we're running. We're basically trying to play this map based on how this particular real world operation operates in the real world. This is a dairy, and they produce their own, they have a dairy for milk purposes so that they can make their own ice cream, milk, yogurt, all those kind of things. And they also have some beef cattle that they raise, and they kind of do the farmers market thing. So kind of with the exception of really the sawmill stuff, which we got to do the sawmill because we need to produce the wood for the beehives. But the beehives is kind of fitting only because they do operate a farmers market sort of operation here. This company, South Mountain Creamery, is located in Maryland, and they have quite the customer base, a few thousand customers who obviously buy into the buy local and everything, which is obviously a good thing. And so DC says, so did I miss it in episode 0 that this map is edited by EP? Yes, this is a EP added, Eustace added the Marhu sawmill. He added the honey milk factory. He added the greenhouses up there. He made a couple of changes around the main farmyard, cleaned it up and everything. And he did a comparison video. And if you have not seen this yet, go to Eustace Pharmer's YouTube channel. You'll find a link down below. Down below the video, and he did a comparison video between the map, basically with his edits, and also how it compares to the actual South Mountain Creamery in the real world. And it's a very good comparison video. Eustace does, he's done a number of those. He did a comparison video on the real Coldborough Park farm versus the virtual one. I think he also did another 1 or 2 as well. So he did a good job. He pulls up some Google Maps pictures and everything, and kind of shows. And so it's really cool when these map developers basically create a virtual map based on real world stuff. And there's a number of them out there. I don't recall, other than Coldborough Park Farm in Farm Sim 15, I don't really recall that many maps in Farm Sim 15 that was based on real world farm locations. But there's been a number for 17, and I hope that trend continues to grow for 19. Of course, I hope that there's some of the maps like Lone Oak Farm, I hope it makes it to Farm Sim 19, because I just basically don't have time to get all of the maps played that I want to play, as that might be the case for you guys as well, that there's just so many hours in the day and so many excellent maps that we have access to that we all want to play and we all want to experience them, but it just boils down to do we have the time? But yes, it is. This is a Eustace Pharmer edit of the South Mountain Creamery map, and like I said, he added those features that I mentioned, and and of course I chose to start in the last game day of spring, just simply because I wanted to, most people like the harvesting aspect of the farming operation, and so I figured if I do that kind of like I did with Thornton Farm, we'll start the last game day of spring. We'll kind of get through some of this stuff over the next few live streams. We'll be getting into the harvest. We're going to be, we've got 2 fields of corn maze that we'll be doing for silage, cutting for chaff and silage. And then we've got 2 fields of wheat that we will be harvesting mainly for the straw. And yeah, only 200. That's small for commercial dairy, and it is Doughboy. I will, if we continue to make some decent profit on the sale of our fruit and veg and stuff that we're selling out front of the store, and if we can get some good money for maybe for our wheat and everything, I may consider bumping up the number of dairy cows. They have a fairly large number in the real world. So I know everyone is excited about the release of FS17. What are most folks most excited about? What are the features that you're most excited about seeing? Is it equipment? Is it functionality? Is it other other things? GBS should do 600 or 1200 head. Well, we'll see about that. I will tell you that 200 is, I think 200 head is the largest amount that I've had on any of my virtual farms, simply because somebody once put a little criticism, how sofa farmers or couch farmers is what Eustace Pharmer referred to them as earlier today. Somebody gave me a little bit of grief because of the number of head of dairy cattle that I was running based on the size of the farm and the size of the field and everything, and I'm like, dude, it's just virtual. It's it's not like it's not like we really have that many cows there. Doughboy's excited that John Deere made the game, and I am too. I think that's going to be good for Giants. I think it's going to be good for the franchise, and obviously it's going to be good for the console players. And of course, Doug Zorley says the Big M 450. He said that 3 times because I didn't respond to him quick enough. Yes, we're all happy about that. And I personally don't understand, other than if it came down to the fact that it was licensing initially, but I'm pretty sure the Big M was in FS17. I remember using it, and I don't think it was a mod. I could be wrong because it has been almost 2 years since I've touched FS15, but I'm pretty sure it was there, and then it wasn't there in the base game for 17. Yet of course Giants came out with the Corona DLC and everything, and of course it wasn't part of that, but thankfully we've got good modders that can create this stuff, and they put it out there for us to enjoy, and it's just fantastic. And Chris Webb is excited about the horses, laugh out loud, and I know he's probably joking about that. Yeah, I got something to say about that, and it'll most likely be in a blog post either tomorrow or the next day. It's not that I'm opposed to the horse concept as far as raising them for maybe sell purposes, because let's face it, I mean that is kind of a big business in certain parts of the country. I think it was Doug Zorley. You've got family that raise horses. I think you said in Tasmania, was it, or Papua New Guinea? I can't remember. You said you were talking in your live stream, so it is big business. Um, but I would also like to see. I would like to see personally. I would like to see cattle other than dairy cattle. I would like to see beef cattle. I would like to be able to run a farm or a ranch or whatever that basically produced, grass for hay and silage purposes, and grow corn for silage or whatever, for the simple fact of raising beef cattle to then sell for the slaughter market, etc. Of course, then you got PETA that's coming around and causing you havoc in your videos and everything. But yeah, Doug Zorley says indeed Arabian racing stud. So it does exist, but I think the way that, at least the way that I've understand the horses to sort of function within Farm Sim 19 is it's more of a novelty than kind of it is anything else. I mean, you can ride the horses, and you've got to you got to kind of uh, you got to earn experience levels and everything with it. And really and truthfully, from the way that I've understood horses to be in Farm Sim 19, it's very similar to the stupid basketball that they put in 17. What in the world does that have to do with farming? It doesn't. It doesn't have a darn thing to do with farming. Yes, I'm sure most farms, at least in the US, may have a basketball hoop nailed up either to a tree or the side of the barn, but it shouldn't have been something that was such an emphasis and everything. And actually, I was going to, my goal for Farm Sim 17 was to never earn the Steam badge for the three-pointer. And actually, I got bored when I was setting this map up, and where you spawn for South Mountain Creamery is right there, kind of at the house that you allegedly live in, and the basketball court is right there, or the basketball goal is right there, and so the ball kind of rolls out as you're standing there, and I'm like, well, let me try this, and I said to myself, all right, I'm gonna shoot it 5 times, and I swear it's only 5 times that I've ever shot the basketball, and on the very last time I sunk the three-pointer, and I got the Steam badge for it. So oh well, I couldn't resist. Oh dear, GBS is starting to sound like Duck Zorley. If the horses are junk horses, like they say they should, make you have to break the horse, and if it bucks you off and break your leg, yeah, and then you can go to a virtual hospital and have to pay to get your leg mended. That was the base of the GTX mod version of 17. Okay, so they took the one that was in 15 and then created it for 17, I suppose. Well, there are a few things. There were a few things that came out in the first two fact sheets that really kind of caught my attention, and I talked about those in a blog article that I wrote. If you click on the Farming Sim tab at the top of my blog site, grizzlybearsims.com, you can read those articles. One of them was obviously the Wilson trailers. Super excited about that because I personally like to play American style maps, and yes, there are some Wilson style trailers out there in the mod world, but most of them that I have encountered have some issues, some minor, some major, and so typically what I like is, when Giants bring something into the game, we can fuss and complain about the fact that there's only one John Deere harvester, or that there's horses in the game, or that they're bringing out yet another tree harvesting piece of equipment, when none of that really makes is appealing to us. But one thing that they do very well is they do their models very, very well. So, and that of course is sort of leads into the excitement with John Deere, is because if Rubber Burner was here, I'm sure he would agree with me, because he and I have talked about this very subject many, many times. Of all of the farming equipment mods that are out in the mod world, it seems like John Deere is the one that is the most hit and miss as far as whether it's going to work, whether it's going to shake like a bowl of jello, or whether it sounds bad, or just, basically doesn't work and crashes your game. Many of the other equipment manufacturers that are represented within the mod world don't have those issues. And so that there is basically seeing that John Deere is coming to the game, that should at least, whatever they bring into the game, the one combine, the headers, the tractor, the gator, whatever, at least everything's going to work really well. Hopefully the John Deere gator won't have the stupid cap in it that's looks kind of awkward, but thankfully Farmer Klein fixed that for me. All right, we are done spraying a little fertilizer here, so we'll head on back to the main farm with this guy. Hopefully in the second year, we'll do some slurry work. Hopefully we'll have enough then. Of course, if I rise to Doughboy's challenge of increasing the number of dairy cows that I have, it shouldn't be a problem to get a little bit more slurry. It will be interesting to see what sort of features they put into the American map that's going to come out with 19. That should be quite interesting. I have to be very careful that I don't scratch the big M, because I would not hear the end of it if I were to scratch the big M. All right, just like that. That works out. My throat's getting dry. All right, what can we do? What can we do? Let's go ahead and take this truck. I kind of got through a few of those projects a little quicker than I had actually thought that I would. Of course, I suppose we could always fast forward through the evening and get started cutting some grass, of course, with the big M. Everything is seeded, everything is fertilized. We're really just waiting for stuff to grow, waiting for the corn to reach its stage where we can cut that and beginning putting the chaff into the silage bunkers, and of course the wheat for the straw. We can top up the manure boxes on the greenhouse. That'll kill a few minutes. It's got to be done. And what about the dogs? What's the dog supposed to do in Farm Sim 19? I suppose it might be cool if the dog would actually, if you could actually herd your sheep with the dog. It's supposed to be able to move sheep from one pasture to another. I don't know if that includes all livestock. I would like to see that because I think that that would be very cool if we had the ability to move livestock from one. Dog does nothing according to DC. Chases the ducks away. All right. Well, I expected somebody to say something like that. Looks like we got some bees going. We got one bee box in that in this bee house here. That's the only bee box that Mickey has made for us up to this point. But I was watching, obviously with my wife being from Europe and having lived a number of years in England, we have a VPN that allows us to stream BBC iPlayer, so we watch Countryfile, and I've talked about that a few times on my videos. And we watch Countryfile, and this last weekend, this last Sunday, it was the one man and his dog competition where they have to move sheep from all around a field and run them through some gates and put them into a pen and that sort of thing. Quite interesting. So if you know, if something like that could be done with the dog, that might be kind of interesting to do. Farm building gameplay, Elroy61 says, yeah, I am too. Of course, I'm not sure any of us really know how it's going to work. Um, but I think that's going to be a rather interesting way of doing things based, you know, especially compared to what we've had before in the past. I think that's going to be really cool. Doug Zorley says it will ride with you and some equipment with you apparently, and you can call it, but this is just what was reported from Gamescom. Nothing really fully known of its depth and level of interaction. Okay. This John Deere wheel loader obviously needs some weight in the back end. Man, these greenhouses produce fruit and veg really quick. I think we could probably collect some more if we wanted to, but I'm not going to mess with it right now. All right, one more load, get those other two greenhouses topped up with manure, and we'll see what time it is. Hopefully those bees won't, the sound of the bees won't get a copyright strike on my video. I think it was it Farmer Klein or was it you, Doug Zorley, that had the seagulls? You got a strike on your one of your videos. I think it was Klein that got a copyright strike on one of his videos because of the seagull sound. Elroy61 says, even on FS17, I usually buy a field away from the main farm and set up my own farm. That's cool. Yeah, Doug Zorley says that was Klein. Yeah, when you got a copyright strike because of the seagull sounds. And wrong gear. All right, one more. I half expect the EPA to stop by and complain about the exhaust coming off this John Deere wheel loader. All right, good fun, good fun. Of course, speaking of animals, I would also like to see even a greater variety of animals. You know, the cattle that they put in the South American map, which I have yet to get any time to really play. I was really kind of looking forward to those, but those are baked into that map, and I've yet to see those on any modded maps. But I would also like to see um, maybe like some Texas Longhorns or even some bison. How about some bison? You know, bison is big in Wyoming, Montana, even here in Colorado. There's a number of ranches that raise bison for meat purposes because it's they say it's a lot healthier for you. Jamie Bird says some got a copyright strike for the sound of the wind in P3D Flight Sim. I've not heard that, but I wouldn't be surprised. I've often wondered about because like the Flight Sim Labs A320, A319 has the ability to load in the like the cabin announcements and stuff like that, and I'm really surprised that folks that are producing content on YouTube or Twitch, well, Twitch doesn't really care, I suppose, because a lot of folks play music and everything on Twitch, but um, that those don't actually flag a copyright strike because they are actually recordings of the real airline cabin announcements, you know, the safety announcements, safety briefings, or whatever. All right, let's speed up our time just a little bit, and let's go ahead and go into the next game day because I really can't think of anything else to do right now in this game day. And we will. It was a guy I used to watch, or maybe still do. Okay, um, watch a number of folks. Flight Sim. All right, Alt N to skip the night. We'll go to morning at 6 o'clock. That's daylight enough. And we'll head over here and get in the big M, and we'll start. We probably won't finish it. I've got I'll stream for about another 30 minutes. Jackalope would be cool, DC. You know, those things do exist. Um, they really do exist. I've seen because I've seen them stuffed in souvenir, you know, shops. Like when you go to Garden of the Gods in Colorado Springs, the little trading post there, they have them. You can buy them stuffed, so they do exist. Irrigation would be I agree. Elroy 61. That you win the prize for the best suggestion. I would absolutely love to see a fully baked in solution. I think there's been some mods. There was a mod for FarmSim 15. Our corn's growing. There was a mod for 17 I've seen of irrigation, but nothing. Either it doesn't work right or it's just too much of a hassle or whatever. But I would love to see something truly baked in the way that, like if I'm driving out through the West Texas, Panhandle of Texas, or even out in eastern Colorado, Oklahoma, you see these giant irrigation platforms that move and sort of rotate in the fields. I would love to see that, and actually, you know, that our crops need water, almost like the soil mod functionality. But I'm curious as to if Giants is maybe going to bake in something similar to soil mod, because obviously lime is a thing, based on that information that you shared today, Doug Zorley. Lime is going to be in the game, so obviously lime is applied to the field to, I believe it's to lower the pH, or maybe it's to raise the pH, I can't remember. So let's see what we're doing here. I think what we're going to do is we are going to leave a swaths. So enable windrow mode is what we want. Doughboy says, I think you should stream till I get to my destination. Well, sir, I don't know where in the world you're going. And knowing me, if I were to agree to that, you would tell me that you were like somewhere on the East Coast and you were headed all the way like 1,000 miles away or something. And I just don't have the energy. My day started at about, I was in the office at about 5:30 this morning, and I'm still playing catch up from being out of the office for 2 weeks for vacation, and getting in the office and getting some things done before all the users come in and start hitting the systems. We don't know what the lime is being used for, is what Doug Zorley says, and then he retracted his message, so I don't know. But anyway, I know in soil mod for FarmSim 15 we had lime, and it was used to either raise or lower the pH. I can't remember now, but it was one of those two things the lime did. And of course, with soil mod, we also had to water, because we had to watch our moisture levels, and of course fertilization and all that kind of stuff. So it was quite interesting. Only 400 miles on this trip. Okay, well that's still quite a ways away. It is believed to be part of the spraying and herbicide functions. Okay, well again, maybe it's, you know, maybe it is sort of a little bit of soil mod functionality built into that, because again, soil mod, you did have to put down herbicide to control weeds. Yeah, no soil mod, no seasons, and no GPS baked in either. Yeah, wow. You know, if I were Giants, I would look at the top mods that are either downloaded or, you know, at least people are talking about or whatever, and bake that functionality into the game. And I realize that not everybody wants to play with soil mod, not everybody wants to play with seasons, Maybe not everybody wants to do the GPS thing or course play and all of that, but you know, have them where you can switch the functionality off. If you don't, if you want to play a less complicated version, then switch off seasons, switch off soil mod, and it kind of puts it back to how things are. Because my concern is that, you know, one of these days, some of the folks, some of the talent behind seasons, or well, I mean, we saw what happened to soil mod. Soil mod did not, it never made it into FS17, even though at one particular point in time, word on the street was that the folks that developed soil mod were working with the seasons folks, and we might have some kind of mutual blended, you know, function, that maybe seasons would kind of take over some of that stuff, and that never happened. The pony mod. Yeah, there was also an oxen mod. I think Eustace Pharmer recorded a video using, I vaguely remember an oxen that he was using. I don't know where he got that thing, but, and I think it was a conversion from either FS17 or something like that, and it really didn't work that well, but he went ahead and made a video about it. Probably just to annoy Doug Zorley. I do hope that they, I like those icons that you shared today, Doug Zorley. And if you have not, if those folks that are watching the live stream, if you have not seen those screenshots of the new icons that are going to be in FS19 to define the different crop types and different, you know, fuel and fertilizer and slurry and all that stuff. If you look in the Simulation Gaming Society Discord server, and you can find a link to that down below the video screen and the notes for the video, there's a link to that. You can head over there and take a look at our FS19 hype channel or section and see those images. And I hope that they will go ahead and leave the text, although something probably tells me that they won't, because it is still kind of confusing. Obviously, you know, you kind of know what fuel looks like and water and stuff like that, but some of those crop types, it is a little bit confusing as to what it is. So it would be nice if they would get out of the way, Cal. It would be nice if they would go ahead and leave the text that sort of explain what it was. I think they could do that and it would still look nice. Now, see, I like what they did with the South Creamery, or the yeah, this map, South Mountain Creamery, where they basically extended the range that the livestock will move into. So they'll move into this field number 42, and that's quite a ways away from the dairy. So having, actually on this map, this, you know, having 300, 400 head of cattle, it doesn't really look out of place, because they do have quite a ways, quite a bit of area to basically move to. The text would be great to be left there, says Chris, and the text isn't included in the HUD and the UI. Well, there you go. Darn it. That's okay. I will print off those images and keep that as a cheat sheet for a week or so until I learn what they mean. Well, I think they are. They're a lot better than they were for 17 and 15, but I still kind of get a bit confused about. I think maybe like grass and hay. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's not so bad. Jose Maria, hey Grizzly, nice to find you in YouTube. Sorry, but it's late here in Brazil. I'll watch you tomorrow. Yep, not a problem. Good night, and have a good night's sleep. And the archive should be available after the live stream, so you can catch up on things. But thanks for checking out the stream. And if you are watching still and you're not a subscriber of the Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel, please hit that subscribe button. I really do appreciate it. And also, while you're at it, please go out and visit some of my friends and do the same for their channels as well. They put out great content, family friendly. Doughboy, what you hauling tonight? You still hauling livestock? A like spike. Yeah, a like spike. Go ahead. I think that really only works when you got like a couple of hundred people watching you. Some of the flight sim folks that I watch, they'll have 300, 400, 500, 900 folks watching them. Squirrel, gosh, that guy, I've seen some of his streams, 1,000, 1,200, 1,500 people watching. Got cows, okay. You still hauling livestock out of the hurricane affected areas, or is that done? Is that basically back to business as usual? For folks in the stream, Doughboy 2913 last week, or maybe it was the week before, time kind of runs together. He was hauling livestock out of the Carolinas in anticipation for the hurricane that hit. So he and others like him were probably responsible for really saving that industry a lot of money and heartache and everything else from what could have possibly been a disaster. I think kind of going back to some of the things that I'm excited about Farm Sim 19 about is I think the weeds. I was a little disappointed in the whole weeder concept in 17 because it really doesn't do anything other than just gives you a bonus, fertilization bonus, but there's no graphical representation, and then there's no penalty if you choose not to weed. But in 19, of course, you will be penalized, punished if you let weeds get out of control. And so obviously you can tackle those. This all came out today. You can tackle those with the weeder, or you can spray the herbicide to control the weeds. And if you don't do anything at all, you could be penalized around 20% of your total harvest. Doughboy says the farms that we can get to are okay. Other areas we can't get to. Yeah. Well, hopefully things will start to get back to normal. Gunslinger 74, long time no see, GBS. Well, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate that. Yeah, I took some time off. Took most of the summer off between work, travel, and 2.5 weeks in Europe on vacation. I just had so much going on and just needed to kind of put things aside that really Not that this doesn't matter, but you know, real life comes first, and so just had to focus on those things. And but I am back, and we're going to be live streaming this series, and hopefully having some fun while doing so, and talking about FS17. I think unless something changes and I were to find myself with a whole bunch of extra time on my hands, I really think that this will probably be the last map that I play for FS17 with the Seasons mod and all that good stuff, because we are inside of 2 months to release on FS19. And as I was telling everybody on Friday night on the first live stream, because FS19 releases on the 20th of November, which that is the week of the Thanksgiving holiday for those of us in the US, I'm actually going to be out of town. So I will be living vicariously through folks like Doug Zorley and Eustace Pharmer and others that will obviously be streaming until their hearts are content on FS19, and I'll be watching those from my parents' house in Texas. I won't have my gaming machine with me, and not going to be messing about with a laptop or anything like that, so I will just wait until I get back home, and by then Doug Zorley and everyone else can put out the tutorials on all the differences on how to do things, and then I'll slide right in and have all of the knowledge and everything already laid out in front of me. That's your mission should you accept it, Doug Zorley. My new rig, man, I tell you what, this thing is fantastic, Chris. I need to knock on some wood just in case. But yeah, everything is running really well. It does fantastic. Of course, you know, ATS, ETS2, and FarmSim are obviously better optimized for today's modern technology, modern video cards, CPUs, etc. P3D prepared, the flight sim application that I use, even though it's 64-bit, it really is still, this particular version, version 4, is still not really that well optimized. And so, but still, it does it well. It gives me the frames that I am happy with. And of course, games like this, I get full 60 FPS, and it does really well. Temperatures are all looking good, and yeah, it's just that 1080, that GTX 1080 Ti is just purring right along. First 5 episodes of FS19 will be just the Big M mowing grass. Okay, well, I will at least learn how to mow grass with the Big M for FS19. And Sly Robocop Gaming says, what do you think about FS19? What are your negatives and positives for 19? Well, if you go to my blog site, grizzlybearsims.com, you can read a blog post that I wrote today, and I'm going to release another one either tomorrow or Thursday with some of my opinions and everything. I will say that part of the negatives are that I'm really not impressed that we're seeing a duplication in the forestry equipment with the Komatsu stuff. I understand the reason behind it. I know that Komatsu paid to get their equipment in the game, and that's, at the end of the day, that is good for us, but do we really need 2 tree harvesters and 2, you know, buffalo style pieces of equipment? So there's that. I share frustration, as does many of the folks in our chat, is with regards to the horses, because again, what purpose does that have, just riding them around? How much development time was spent doing that could have been put into either creating more models, more equipment models, or other types of, you know, improving the physics of the game, that sort of stuff. How, you know, that could have been time better spent doing that. You know, the blog article that I wrote today really sort of zeroes in on some of the frustration that some of the folks in the community seem to be having regarding the fact that there's only going to be one John Deere combine in the game. I think folks just need to relax and take a chill pill on that. You know, I think we're lucky to have John Deere in the game in the first place, and I think that only good things will come of that. And one thing that I did not mention in the blog article, but one of the PCSG members brought up and left a comment on my video or on my blog saying that basically Giants could not show favoritism by releasing a whole suite of John Deere equipment right out of the gate, because that might turn Case off, or New Holland, or Massey Ferguson, or something like that. So, you know, they put out some few pieces of equipment, a tractor, a combine, a weight, or something else that's coming, and we'll just have to wait and see what, you know, comes down the pipe. Most folks have the opinion that we could very well see a DLC pack, maybe with John Deere equipment in it. It might be some of the larger equipment, some of the, I think a lot of folks would also like to see some of the classic John Deere equipment come out. That might be cool. So I think we just got to wait and see. DC says, we all know there will be like 20 John Deere models within the first week anyway. Yeah, there'll be a whole lot of mods. Most of those will be the same FS13 that got mods that got pushed into 15, that got pushed into 17, and they'll shimmy and they'll shake and they'll dance around like a bowl full of jello. And there'll be some good stuff come as well, hopefully. Doug Zorley thinks the first DLC will be Kloss. Well, that could be. Okay, Doughboy, drive safe. Have a good night, man. And thanks for all you do out there. Our truck drivers and our farmers are two of the most important outside of teaching and law enforcement, first responders, our military, our medical professionals. Truck drivers and farmers are why we can eat every day. All right, we're gonna wash the Big Yam just because we got to take care of it, because Doug Zorley will get upset if there's any rust that forms on this baby. Sly Robocop Gaming, it's annoying that they haven't fixed the clipping when offloading from the harvesters to the trailer. It goes through the side. Yeah, hopefully some of that stuff will maybe get addressed. I'm pretty sure I read that they did manage to fix the leaky roof. So hopefully that is going to be a thing, because that is also a little bit annoying. Rain pouring through the barn roof and everything. Andrew, well, hi to you. How are you, sir? Yeah, Doug Zorley says the leaky roofs have been fixed. Doug Zorley also says there won't be a huge array of John Deere equipment on release. I think they will still announce a John Deere sprayer and another tractor. I think you will have a Kloss DLC, and the second DLC will be old John Deere. Well, there you go. We heard it right from the duck's mouth. Hope they get rid of the great demand handbrake effect. And Chris says, me too, Jamie. That's pretty annoying. Yeah, it is. They should improve the power washing. Like, it shouldn't wash the whole thing. You should wash pieces of the equipment, not all at once. Yeah, you know, basically all you have to do is just stand there and squirt the same spot, and it comes clean. I'm guessing that they kind of do that because most folks may not want to, you know, walk around the entire vehicle and wash it. I don't know. Well, folks, my throat is about to give out, and it has been almost 90 minutes, And so for folks that are going to be catching the archive stream, I want to try to keep these things under 90 minutes just so that there's not so much that they will want to watch. Of course, they can fast forward it, that's fine. But I will be back for another live stream episode on South Mountain Creamery in the next day or so. It may not be tomorrow night, but if it's not tomorrow night, then most likely I will try to get back here for Thursday. And of course, what we need to do on Thursday, because of the weather forecast, as you're looking there, we've got rain that starts tomorrow. And basically, every day of summer, man, look at that. Every day of summer has rain in the forecast. We are playing 6 game day seasons, but that's okay. Our fall forecast, the first 2 days of fall, looks pretty decent. But we do need to get the grass that we just cut, we need to get that collected, and we'll be using obviously the forage wagon for that, and putting that into one of our three um, silage silos that I've got here on the map, just because that's a little easier to do it that way. These only hold 100,000 liters each, so I would reckon that we'll have more than 300,000 liters of grass that will come off that field. So we may have to put some of it in storage, or maybe put some of it in the concrete bunker. We'll see how that goes. But obviously, that's what we'll do in the next live stream, is collect that grass, and most likely then maybe turn around and fertilize that field again, just so that that will be ready to go. Hopefully we can get at least 2 cuttings, if not maybe 3. I don't know if we'll need that, but Doughboy seems to think that I need more dairy cattle here on this map, so we might consider adding a few more head of cows. Let's just kind of take a look at our animals. We will need to do water, so we'll do that the next live stream. And maybe just top up other elements as well. So cows are the only thing that we are running, even though we've got food here. This was kind of on the map when I started playing, but we don't have any animals for pigs or sheep, because in the real world they don't raise those here. As a matter of fact, before we go, let's just go down and see if I can remember where the chickens are. If I can get through here before the music starts playing. The chickens. Well, the chickens are quite a long ways. Let's not walk. Let's just let's cheat just a little bit and just kind of magically fly down there, because we probably need to get these eggs out of here. I think there'll probably be some eggs. And we'll just grab those eggs. Just like that. There's a gold nugget. If you're collecting gold nuggets, you've got one that's hidden back there. All right, well, thank you folks for coming out and hanging out with me on this fine Tuesday evening, or in the case of Doug Zorley, Wednesday morning. Hopefully everyone else's Wednesday will go smoothly for you all. Appreciate you coming out and hanging out. And again, if I'm not live on Wednesday night, US time, most likely I will try to get a live stream going on Thursday, and we'll finish up what we were doing and move on to other things on the map. So thank you all again for watching. I appreciate it. Take good care of yourselves and also of each other, and God bless you all. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.